Hello, everyone, and welcome to episode 38 of Red Dirt and Stardust, a Dungeons and Dragons 5th edition science fantasy, western, and pirate campaign. So, where we last left off, Chauncey and Lyla finished dividing up the items that were in the package, or at least ones amongst themselves. They then got together with Jed and confronted Adrien in his room about what this mysterious page from the Liber Logaeth is, what can it do, and tried to gain more information. Ultimately, they came to somewhat of an uneasy truce that they would keep each other's secrets and help each other out, but only if they help each other out and keep each other's secrets. The group then went their separate ways to their separate homes, where Jed experienced a strange dream involving another knife that had not been broken, as well as seeing visions of Amarillo and a burning farmhouse with a woman standing outside of it and a child inside screaming, as well as a horrifying vision of a woman wrapped in chains. Lyla received a vision from the huckster, who told her that the goblin that would lead her and her companions to the huckster's domain, or at least a part of it, resided somewhere in Amarillo. And you all have woken up from your long rest. So, you all are awake. Morning has come, some eventfully, some uneventfully. What are you all doing?
I think Lila's probably pretty eager to just relax for a minute. Like not really super looking forward to setting off again. A little perturbed by the dream. She maybe takes a little extra time in her room, getting herself ready. She just spends her morning relaxing at the bar, talking to Teddy, has some porridge or something like that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Um,
it's
I feel like Adrien would have waken up much earlier to resummon Chrysanthus.
you do not need to resummon your familiar
Oh
unless
wait,
your
he was just
familiar
put to sleep.
dies.
He didn't die. He was just put to sleep. Um, okay, so uh, I feel like Chrysanthus would wake up Adrien early at the very least to feed him.
Mm-hmm.
Here is what again? Oh, the Raven. The Raven,
Yeah,
yeah.
the Raven.
Mm-hmm.
That's right. Fucking bird.
And then Chauncey and Jed.
Chauncey definitely stayed up a little later than other people, so probably slept in a little bit because he was working on that drawing of his brother for the mayor to, cast a sending spell if that's what the party decides to do. Do you want me to
Mhm.
re-roll it, or can we use that roll that I used at the end of last session?
That roll was ridiculous, but yes, we'll keep it. So you burn a
Um,
bit of the midnight oil and you create this almost lifelike photographic drawing of your brother.
yeah.
Aw.
Yeah, and I'm just gonna roll it up and pop it in the next morning, finishing touches, roll it up and pop it in my bag and just get ready to head out. And I'm gonna on my way out of the door though, I'm gonna drop like a little bundle of pillows outside of Birdie's slash um Gertie's old room. And just with a little note and be like, welcome to the house, neighbor. And yeah.
All right.
I like how this throughout these sessions we're just progressively going through Chauncey's family tree.
Oh yeah, we've got the brother now. Yeah.
Yep. Had the two
Um,
sisters and the brother.
Mhm.
Jed definitely struggled to sleep again after his visions,
Mhm.
and uh, once he thinks it's a reasonable hour in Creator's Hollow, he's going to send a sending spell to his mother because of my Eldritch Invocation. I can do that whenever I want.
Yep.
And I'm going to say, safe back home from the Shadowfell system. With Caleb, he's doing fine. And that's all.
With Caleb.
Yeah,
Yes, with
my
Caleb. Okay.
brother, yeah.
Yeah, yep. It takes a moment before you do hear your mother. Oh, well, that's just wonderful. Hopefully you can swing on by sometime. Your brother's been working on, and she begins to ramble until the sending spell cuts off. She forgets it's only 25 words.
I said another one, 25 words, Mom.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
It all
Your
appears on my skin, by the way. It's like, I'm just reading
your
it.
brother made really good sparkling rosé, period. She
That
says the word period.
Wow.
awesome.
I mean,
She didn't feel the need to comment on my missing brother at all. Cool. And Jed will uh begin his day. Illusion goes up, and he has a few things he wants to do. He wants to chat with Caleb, chat with Gertie,
Mhm.
see what Father Hale's up to, see what the rest of these fools are doing. We have
Mhm.
questing to do, I suppose.
Yes.
It's a big day.
I will say you would probably know that Gertie is staying at the Salty Spittoon since she had to give up her room.
Cool. I need to pick her brain about a certain old mentor of hers.
Not literally,
Yeah.
right?
Mhm.
All right. So are you all getting together or are you all trying to do all of your separate
I don't know.
things?
honestly, Lyla is straight chilling. Like, literally straight chilling. Probably planning on maybe, I don't know, seeing if they roll around to the tavern at some point, maybe talk about going to Amarillo, but that can wait till tomorrow.
All right. Um,
I guess I'll real quick track down Caleb. He's probably somewhere at Father Hale's house with me.
yeah. hmm
And
I would say he's probably a bit more of an early riser
yeah.
than you are. Just because, of course.
He's got a lot to prove.
Yes, he does.
Adrien would definitely be ordering like something like beef tartare for Chrysanthus.
Teddy definitely looks a little confused at you and I'm sorry, how do you tar a beef? They're not used to fancy stuff over here.
Adrien's just like raw meat, please.
You fancy folk, and just goes off to the back. So yeah, Jed, you would find Caleb at the dining room table of the house, sitting there,
Cool.
probably reading through the holy book of O,
Yeah.
because of course he has things to prove.
I like Jed was a little shaken by that vision, and he's a little in his family feelings right now.
hmm
But even still, Caleb was always difficult, so kind of okay. Sit down and join him for breakfast.
hmm
Caleb, good morning to you.
He doesn't even look up from the book, just flipping the pages. Good morning.
And what scriptures are we reading today?
Well, we're looking at the passages that talk about the punishment for liars.
Oh, that's a good chapter. Jed's read it all. He's done the research. Colton
Yes.
hasn't.
Well, I haven't written the book either. It's not like we had pure scriptures for Saint Hypatia
Yeah.
either.
This is yes. Eternal punishment in the Nine Hells does sound like a real tragedy. Now, about this last few weeks of unfortunateness, I do apologize for my lack of responses. It was a real fraught experience out there, and well, at a lot of points I wasn't sure which voices in my head were real.
Interesting. I'm considering whether or not that's a deception check.
Yeah, 100% it is. Like,
All right. I guess I gotta
I
technically
get
pull his
advantage on
stat book.
those when I'm lying about who I am.
Ah, yes. Why am I opening that book? That does not even have stat blocks in it. So I'm gonna roll insight. If I can find his stat block.
I got a 21.
He's probably not gonna beat that. Oh. Well, insight uses wisdom. He doesn't have proficiency with it, but he does have a +3 in it. Rolled a 19 for a 22.
Nice.
Jesus. Okay.
Somehow, he beat you,
You
and he
run
just
towards-
Uh-oh.
raises an eyebrow. All right. And he just keeps flipping the pages silently, starting to ignore you again.
Ooh. Jed has a hard time not hating him a lot. Right. Uh, Forgive my curiosity here, Caleb, but over my couple years I've been living here, I've heard things about, well, your story, and it had me a little curious. I was just wondering if, well, you had ever heard from your family again after they were run out of town.
I haven't, and I don't think I ever will. Dad was killed for devil worshipping, and that's all I need to know.
Well, even if your dad was a sinner, then maybe well, the rest of your family, maybe they're still out there, missing you. You ever think about that?
If they did, they would have contacted me, and they would have stayed within the church and asked for forgiveness instead of running.
Well, I mean, your mother, that must have been very hard for her, having to take all those kids and take care of them after all that.
Maybe. Would have been easier if she stayed where she was, asked for forgiveness, as we all should.
Starting to hate this guy too.
Well, I'm sure she probably had a reason that she couldn't. Jedidiah being that reason.
Yeah. Personally, I don't really care what reason it was. She should have made it work. That's what you do if you have faith. You make things work. You deal with what you got, and you ask for forgiveness.
Well, sometimes what you get isn't fair, Caleb.
No, it isn't.
Right. Well, I have some my own scriptures I think I need to go brush up on. But I think I'm done with breakfast, so I'll be seeing you, Caleb.
All right. And he just goes straight back to his book.
Yeah. Jed turns around and, and tries to not angrily storm out as he's just seething and and walks out of the building.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll go to the salty spittoon.
All right. So, yep, you'll definitely see Lyla and Adrien. I'm not sure if you'll see Chauncey just yet.
So before I'll obviously convene with everybody, but before I go there, I'm gonna stop down in like the kitchen of the house slash apartment slash and just check on is Des making those cupcakes for the Briganox?
Yes, she is. I'm not sure how good Des is at baking as compared to jam making, since I know that's her big specialty with her spicy jams. I'm not sure how good she is at baking. Would you say she's good at baking or?
I don't think she's spices and some cooking. I don't know, like if basic baking is exactly her forte. So pretty much Chauncey went down to give some help. So
Okay.
I'd like to help her with her baking before I head over to the spittoon.
Yeah. So you definitely hear her like slamming the oven shut, and it is almost instantly these cupcakes smell burnt. Not like charred through black charcoal burnt, but like there's a significant char on the top of these as she kind of slams it down.
Oh,
Um,
have you been feeding them these since they moved here, Des?
I, I've been trying to get better at baking. I,
You should have. Uh, Chauncey's got an apron on at this point, and he's gonna take over and just real quick whip up some cupcakes for the Briganoct because he's done it before. Um,
right.
so he's gonna. Can I make a baking check?
Yes, you may.
Okay.
What check would that be?
So cook's utensils are an artisan's tool that I have expertise in.
Mm-hmm.
So, and because I have expertise in it, I add plus 10, plus 5 for intelligence because of the chemistry involved in baking,
Mm-hmm.
plus 15, which gives me a 31 on my check.
Okay, yeah, these cupcakes come out beautifully. Um, they're the softest and moistest cupcakes that you've ever baked. And with a 31, I'll just throw in the decorating. You even somehow make your own little star sprinkles and put them on top with this nice little swirl of icing with the actual like baker's tips that can make all kinds of fun little textures in the icing. So it's actually like pretty nice. And you get about maybe 3 dozen cupcakes out of this mixture.
Cool. And how many? They don't actually individually each need one. They typically split them up and share, right?
No, they do entirely eat one each.
Oh, and how many do we need for the number of them that are in the
I
mine?
believe I officially said there were about 30
Okay.
Briganox.
I'll leave 30. I'm just gonna be like, Des, just consider this will be one of my morning chores. I don't mind helping you out. Just I'm gonna look at her burnt ones. I'm just like, please don't feed those to anything.
They're not that bad, she says, holding up one that only has like a small corner that's been burnt, but the rest of it, it's like it looks like it's probably a little bit on the drier side.
I
Um,
mean, we could cut the burnt parts off and mash them up and use them in something at some point, but just if you can, he's gonna hold up. Take these to them today and tell them I'm back in town because I've if these are the Briganock I think they are, I've fed them before, and I'm gonna take a little plate with 6 of them on with me to the salty spittoon.
all right, all right, I will. And as you leave, entering is a dwarf, an older, maybe about like 75, 85-year-old dwarf. goes into the general store, and does, keeping a low voice, kind of comes, and if you'd like to make a, what's your passive perception?
Oh, it's not good.
Okay.
Wisdom is still my even. Its passive perception is 10 minus 1 is 9.
Oh, you still have a -1?
Yeah, resilient only gives +1. So I went from 7
Oh.
wisdom to 8 wisdoms. And I only have a -1 modifier.
Oh my. Oh, okay.
Yeah. It's a
Yeah,
dump
so
stat, baby.
Ah,
Chauncey's book smart, not street smart.
very true. So you do not hear anything as you leave the general store and head on over with your lovely cupcakes to the Salty Spittoon, where you see Jed still in Virgil disguise, Lyla and Adrien, all, I guess, sitting where? At the bar? Did you all decide to grab a table?
I was actually going to say something about this. I imagine that a lot of um, I imagine that a lot of people would be watching Adrien feeding like raw chunks of meat to his raven after he sucks the blood from his fingers.
oh, we're watching.
Yeah, it's not the greatest etiquette.
Oh, please, he's in a hick town. What does he care about etiquette?
So yeah, everyone is kind of eyeing you over their shoulder, feeding bits of meat and then raw meat and then licking your fingers. I'm assuming, are Jed and Lyla with Adrien,
Yeah,
or are you all
Jed will
sitting
sit
apart?
down next to Lyla and be like, I didn't think I'd ever see someone with worse manners than the people who live here.
Yeah.
You should have seen the look on Teddy's face when he tried to order. Poor thing.
And
And I guess that's when Chauncey comes in through the door with a plate of cupcakes.
just a heavenly aroma coming off of them.
It does specifically
Relax.
for Jed, it does take you back to that moment when you stood in the kitchen, considering having a conversation with Chauncey, and managed to pull yourself away from these delicious cupcakes. As Chauncey saunters on up to the bar.
Chauncey, morning. Those smell good.
Word, what is, oh, he's been at it again.
Oh, Des tried making the cupcakes. You heard the Briganox moved into the mines, and I don't want them to get run out of town by her baking. Des is great at cooking, but baking is not her.
That's the savagery in this hour. Oh,
I helped. These didn't take that long, honestly. I had plenty of, and you just watch Lovey May is like flunking beside him, and there's Taily Poe on his shoulder, and I had help. It's fine.
Yep. Something tells me the two of them weren't as helpful as they could.
Lovey May's very proficient in holding bowls for me.
I just imagine she, like,
Should
Just
she
sticks
have like
her
a
arms out.
she has like a mixer attachment for her arm?
I was literally just gonna. She just starts drill thrusting her hand.
what is it? Is that Jenny, the teenage robot?
Oh yeah, my life as a teenage robot.
Yeah.
My life is a teenage robot. Yes, yeah. Very that.
What do any of you want one? I have a few left over.
I thought you was never going.
Jed's stomach grumbles as he actually did not have a full breakfast with Caleb.
Right.
He's like, yeah, I'll take a cupcake.
And of course, these cupcakes are divine. What flavor did you make them? Did you just make them plain vanilla, or something a little bit more special, like chocolate or marbled, or?
This was a 31 of a cupcake. These are lavender reduction lemon zested cupcakes.
Ooh.
Ooh. Ooh. Mm. Lyla does make like a big show though of eating it like very carefully, like she puts
Yeah.
her finger in
Mhm.
a small piece.
Adrien, would you? He's just gonna pause as he watches the bloody meat chunks. Do you want a cupcake?
Or would you prefer steak tartare?
Did you lose audio?
Oh, sorry, I got distracted for a second. Repeat, please.
You were offered a cupcake, and then Lyla asked if you would prefer steak tartare. Sarcastically.
Okay. Adrian, he's more finally someone who understands what tartar means. Um,
That's what you got. Okay.
I'll take the cupcake, thank you.
Of course you will.
There's no blood in it.
How everybody
Well, in here I was hoping it would be red velvet.
sleep okay first night in town?
Oh, I slept okay, all things considered, even though my feathery companion over here woke me up, and Chrysanthus just gives uh Adrian the Raven's version of a side eye.
Mm.
Mm-hmm. I'll just like Hawkeye's the Raven just like for a minute. Fucking bird, like under her breath.
Sorry, I didn't hear that. There's like an echo.
Hey, that's fine. That's pretty much the gist.
Yeah.
Okay.
She she was muttering under her breath, so yeah.
Mhm.
Got it.
Right, so we have to go deliver cupcakes to a bunch of little guys in the caves, right?
I mean, I think somebody else does that for Des. We don't have to do that.
Oh, but I'd like to meet these little people.
So
Fascinating little creatures.
Hmm.
Little fine things. Go on down there anytime you like. Just go with Kate.
Sure thing. That sounds interesting.
You suppose they're going to put our miners out of work?
Suddenly there is a whole strike union.
I mean, the Briganock's efficiency compared to human efficiency.
and you can pay them in pastries.
It's the D&D version of what's the word I'm looking for, where a company brings business to another country.
Outsourcing.
Outsourcing. It's the D&D version of outsourcing.
And just summon the Briganox.
Well, I'm sure most of the miners would be thankful to have a break from work. And besides, town's been growing. I'm sure lots of other opportunities gonna open up here soon.
Right, we have a newspaper and a hairdresser.
All right, well, it's more than we had before.
I'm just wondering.
I'm impressed we even have those to begin with. Like,
Adrien is just casually running his hands through his hair, trying to think of the last time he had a haircut on his journeys.
Yeah, and Lyla takes like right just that very second to mention it. She goes, Adrien, you look like you could use a visit to a friend we made here. She just opened up a salon just down the way.
is this universe still with like the weird olden times where like barbers are also like doctors and dentists and like
Theoretically, but
But she
I-
was a specific.
this hairdresser, I don't quite remember if Jed met her here. He definitely met her in the Shadowfell, but I don't
Yeah.
remember if he met her here. It definitely isn't going to be doing surgery or butchery or dentistry. But does do a lot of
Well, then
hairdressing.
what kind of barber is she? Not a very good one. No.
Well, she could just trim those ends up. Tame it.
Right, so what what are we doing then? I was under the impression we had to go deliver pastries, but
No, most pressing matter at hand is, well, I suppose we've already done much of what we can, delivering that drawing of, well, the other mess hall.
Oh, we didn't deliver it yet.
Oh, well then I suppose that would be the most pressing matter at hand, wouldn't it?
all right. I guess we should go speak to the mayor.
Might I join?
Well, it is your page we're after. Oh,
Ah, I understand.
one might presume.
Well,
See.
I find it rude to presume.
All right. So you all begin to make your way over towards the mayor's house. As you do, you notice, those of you with a little bit higher passive perception,
Hello.
by the general store, on the roof of the stables, perched, is a small, probably about the size of a horse, red dragon that is just sitting there, kind of looking around,
Which of you can?
and it just gets down like a
Yes.
cat and just
Is that normal?
What?
no,
no.
that's
Not remotely.
Jedidiah looks angry as he looks at the little dragon.
Oh,
Super confused. I guess. Armor of Agathis.
Do you all think the dragon's not going to attack?
It's a gut reaction. I mean, there's a fucking dragon. I don't know what you want me to do.
does it
Right.
seem hostile?
no, it just seems like it's relaxing. It almost seems like a cat just like draped over something in the sunshine, just basking.
Do you all think you could handle talking to Mayor Yvonne without me?
Do you?
I don't see why not.
You know
Wonderful.
something about this?
Yeah, we're gonna chat about this later, right?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, sure. Uh-huh. Well, on with them, boys.
So the three of you make your way over to Yvonne's enchanted tower, which once again you watch as the doorway appears and opens for you as you all make your way up to her astromancy sort of room with all of the stars and star maps and various gyroscopes and astrolabes as she is sitting there writing something.
This room is beautiful.
Yes, it is very gorgeous. So, I presume you have brought the drawing.
Chauncey's gonna pull it out of his. It's a bag of holding. This is an oversized, not oversized. This is like a probably yeah, like a 3 foot drawing, tubed up thing of paper. As he's just gonna pass it over to her, and he's like, I whipped this up last night before bed. I hope it suffices.
And she unrolls it. Yes, that should do quite nicely. So, what is it you want me to say? What should we say to him?
Oh, um,
He's your brother.
Do we want him in town, right? Was that the plan? Try to get him here to ask him about the Night Riders?
I suppose if you think that's the best course of action, I'm not approaching him hostilely, such as
I mean, Knight Raiders getting a page that powerful from a book that powerful would definitely, I feel, make news within the circles. So I guess we could.
And invite him here.
Yeah.
Okay. Invite. Just tell him.
We've got
His brother Chauncey wants him to visit. There's big news.
sure.
Does that sound good?
Uh,
Right? I will send him that. And she takes a look at the drawing and kind of, as she stares at it, she makes some signs in the air. Her eyes glow for a moment before they just turn white as she stares into the middle distance. And then, the message has been sent. Now we wait for a reply. As she rolls up the drawing and hands it back.
Take it and just put it back and be like,
So-
I don't.
So what happens next?
no, that's pretty much it.
It may take him a bit of time to respond to my standing spell.
This
Yeah.
is assuming. This is assuming that he does respond.
Of course.
It was the best idea we had. Only connection we had in Night Rider so far.
It's better than nothing.
Well,
As she kind of cocks her ear. He wants to say he is surprised you have invited him. And he is coming. It will take some time.
Does he know how much time?
He did not say. There are
Just-
only 25 words allowed per sending spell.
yeah,
Ah.
it's just the one go. Cool.
Adrien whips around and he's like, so until such time that Chauncey's brother comes to town, what is that to do here?
Well, I happen to be a fine entertainer myself, but I do believe you have other proclivities.
Being
Boobs.
Lyla just called you the F slur.
Oh,
as it might come to surprise you, I'm more of an equal opportunist.
Opportunist, sure. Anyway,
Opportunist.
that's what I said.
Oh, I thought you said optimist.
No. No. I saw what you did to the steak.
something tells me you may want to speak with Desiree at the general store. One of my hunches, but my hunches are rarely wrong.
Oh, and Mayor, why did you put her in charge of baking for the Briganox, honestly?
There was no one else that wanted to do it. She was the only one who wanted to go down into the mines and listen to them singing.
She does have a unique musical taste.
There was a bit of mention of concern about the current mining workers. You don't think the Briganox moving in is going to cause any sort of problem with them, do you?
No, they are small as a mouse. The work they do will not outpace the workers of the mines. If anything, they are useful in digging out small veins that would be too much for big, normal-sized people to dig out, too waste of resources. But good for tiny mouse-sized people to dig out, more efficient.
Well, there you have it. Progress.
Yes, they have been most useful. they have increased the amount of silver that is coming out of the mines. Granted, it is only by about 0.01%, but it is growth.
So I guess you could say that they're actually increasing job opportunities
Yes.
above board.
Yes.
Sorry, if I'm not using the accent, above board.
The accent has been going in and out, so I was like,
Sorry, I've been trying to get better at that.
You're good. It's bad. Go for it. Like,
Shall we? Oh, here, I'm gonna give the mayor a cupcake. Chauncey's just like, I had a few. I helped her with the baking this morning. I had a few spares. Here you go. Thanks.
How wonderful. I shall save that for later. And it's very bizarre. She has a little plate that she sets it on, and a cloche just appears over it. Yeah, we shall save that for later.
suppose we should go check in on Richard Buchanan. I believe he had an unexpected call.
Quickly, 1 second. Adrien is like, "Are you a conjuration wizard?"
No, divination.
That makes more sense.
Yes, it is quite useful with filling out paperwork for the town.
I can imagine.
Yes. Well, if you have other business to attend to.
Do you have our gold yet? Just curious. I do apologize.
Damn, just I mean above game. Damn.
Z5000 for Corrigan. It is on its way.
Oh, thank you. I do apologize. It's just I'm starting to think about what I might use my share for, and strike while the iron's hot, right?
Of course.
Oh, no, it would be you, Master Chauncey.
I will make sure to send you a sending spell when it arrives.
Thank you, Mayor.
I have paperwork, so I will get back to that. As she pulls out her quill and starts filling out more paperwork at her desk.
Thank you kindly, man.
And so we are quickly going to jump over to Jed, as I'm assuming the group are heading towards the general store.
Yeah, because
as you make your way towards the general store, Jed, you watch as the dragon kind of lifts its head and stretches its wings, and then it jumps down almost like a cat into the horse pen before jumping over the fence, as out from the front door comes a very familiar dwarf. This is Deacon Hubbard. As he comes out, he has his crossbow over his back, and he's going to make his way towards his dragon as he kind of just tips his very large cowboy hat towards you, as he heads towards his dragon and begins to mount it.
And can I say that before I started walking over, I kind of like found a little corner, and I want to disguise self again and turn into like an old prospector looking man.
Okay, yeah.
And I'm
Yeah, you can do that.
I'm like shim-shamming towards him.
above game. Do the rest of the party know who this person is? Would we?
I don't think so.
Okay, I didn't think so. All right, yeah.
We see them around.
I think Chauncey probably heard stories about him. I don't know if
yeah, you would know of him.
Got it.
But not have known him. Yeah.
And I'll do a little old man walk towards him, and as he's like mounting up, like, "Deacon Hubbard, as I live and breathe."
Well, hello there. I'm not quite sure I remember you, but I see quite a few faces every day.
Yeah, I like come over. I want to like enthusiastically like shaking and say, "Zeke, you can call me Zeke." When I saw that there dragon up there, I just knew one of the original heroes of the town was coming back for a visit.
Well,
Which
yeah.
hero is this?
Now,
Yeah.
I was here back in the day when you took care of that nasty old dragon. Woo-wee, was he something scary?
He
Oh,
certainly was, but I couldn't have done it without Mayor Yvonne and Sheriff Bixby.
I'm
I
sure
couldn't have
they're
done it
real
without
happy you're
them.
coming for a visit.
Yep, I've been visiting all the people that I need to visit. I just have another stop to make.
What
Well,
brings you back in town? Subtle spell detect thoughts.
hit him.
Okay. Uh, you see sort of a memory of him sitting next to a very young half-orc girl while they're in the stables. And she is holding some sheets of paper, and you can't quite hear what she's saying, but she's clearly reading off of these sheets of paper, and she's holding a pen in her hand. And he kind of nods as he's looking over this sort of these sheets of paper. And then you see this girl a little older on horseback as Deacon Hubbard is running after her as this horse is galloping off. And he says, well, I certainly had some family to visit, people that I care very deeply about.
Right, family's very important.
Yep.
All my family's dead.
Well, unfortunately, that does tend to happen.
I haven't seen you for quite a few years. Not since that horrible night.
And he kind of thinks about it for a moment, kind of flicks through some various horrible nights. A night where he got very drunk and beat someone up, a night where he and his wife had an argument. He does flick through a very interesting memory as he watches. He has his dragon, and he is kind of petting the dragon as he's watching all of these people going towards the mine with torches and pitchforks. And then there's just another one where he has another argument with his wife before he flicks back to the one where there's the people with the pitchforks. Well, I've had a lot of terrible nights.
It was some real nasty business.
Yeah.
Well, it's a good darn thing we ran them devil worshippers out of town.
And he kind of takes a pause. I guess for the good of all that is holy. And in his mind, there's an interesting memory. You see your father and Deacon Hubbard sitting at a table in the salty spittoon as they kind of clink these mugs together. And there is an intense feeling of missing a friend as well, I should probably get going. I have a variety of things that I need to do. It was very lovely to
Where are
see
you heading off to next? We just got here. You can't leave.
Well, I'm probably going to get a drink at the Salty Spittoon before I head over and see Father Hale one last time before heading out.
Oh, Father Hale, haven't seen him in a long time either. What business are you conducting with the good preacher?
I'm just wanted to pay a visit to him, along with, of course, my beloved family, and a few people in town, like Des on in there.
Did he think about anything about Father Hale?
He does. He flicks through a few emotions. First are friendly ones. They share a faith. They commiserate over that. They talk about that a little bit, and then there's a memory of a huge argument in which a table gets flipped. And after that, that's about it. Before he's just, well, I gotta head out. Hopefully I will. I'm sure I'll see you around if I decide to visit again. It was lovely to see you again.
It is so good to have you back in town. Thank you. Oh, you have a wonderful day with the preacher. Take care now.
As the dragon up into the air.
I'm gonna fucking kill you.
The dragon was like, what?
So yeah, you head into the general store where you do see
I'll duck behind the corner and turn back into Virgil.
Yep. As you see Des kind of, she's actually getting out what appears to be some gold coins from like almost like a cash register. She's kind of just like counting them out as she's, and I do you still have your detect thoughts up?
It lasts for 10 minutes, so sure.
She is counting in her head on top of another thought of like, dead. How'd they all end up dead? And just keeps counting.
Okay. I guess before anyone else shows up, I'll be like, Des, it's good to see you.
Good morning.
Was that Deacon Hubbard I just saw walking out?
Yes, it was. He came by to speak with Gertie. I told him that she was currently living at the Salty Spittoon.
Right.
I think he's going to see
been a
Father
long
Hale as
time.
well.
Been a long time since he's in town, right?
Yeah, he wanted to check up on Gertie and then, of course, check up on Father Hale as well. And I happened to put him to work real quick since he wanted to just, be a little helpful around here. I had a shipment of pine lumber that was going to be used for the water tower that you all oh so graciously paid for. That was a bit delayed by a couple of days, and I was a little confused. Alpine Springs isn't that far. It's about 2.5 days north of Red Tower, which I know you all been to. And it should only take about a little over 3 days, but they've been delayed by 2 or 3 at this point. And when he came in with his dragon, I knew that flying around, he'd be able to see quite a bit more, and went out and found the caravan and said that they were all dead and carts were all messed up.
Did he describe how they were killed?
He said they were torn apart, and some of the carts looked like they were dropped from a very high height, as well as the trees in the area some of them looked like they were blown over, except there was no storm. But he did mention there was a storm cloud that was moving toward us, probably reaching Alpine Springs right about now. But it was not. He said it was strange that it was coming. Shouldn't be. The wind pattern isn't quite right for a storm cloud to be heading our way right now. So he said it seems suspicious, and he might need some backup. So after he was finished visiting with Father Hale and with Gertie and all them, he was gonna head back to wherever he and his ranger friends are and see if he can get them to come with their dragons and investigate the storm cloud.
Right. Well, that is quite a frightening story. Maybe my little bundle of adventures would be able to give him a helping hand with that.
Yeah, that might be a good idea. Maybe get a little bit ahead on all the research and stuff like that. Head over to Alpine Springs, speak with the mayor, see what's going on, see if anything strange is happening. Just to make Deacon's job a little easier.
Right. I think I see them walking over here already.
Yep, and at this
Lyla's
point, the three of you do open the swinging doors of the general store, and you all make your way in to see Virgil standing at the counter with Dez, who is counting coins. I think since you had your detect thoughts up, it's very clear she's trying to figure out if she has enough money or gold on hand to pay for a second shipment of pine lumber.
Yeah.
In case she has to pay for another shipment to come, and or there's too much of it that was destroyed, or it was counted as lost, or what other shipping mishaps that may happen. Since it was clear a very big shipping mishap happened, seeing as how they all died.
Well, howdy y'all. I think Miss Dez here might have a little job for us.
Oh, so we are in this situation.
So, are we not talking about the dragon? What was hanging out on the roof?
Just one of the old townsfolk coming for a visit. I like shoot in your mind. Not with Dez here.
And does everyone come in on a flying dragon, or is that just him?
Just him.
A
I think
visitor, apparently.
I think he has some dragon rider friends, but I was just mentioning how we were getting a shipment of wood for that water tower. That y'all, well, maybe not you. She points to Adrien.
Fuck you.
Paid for. And we were supposed to be getting a shipment of lumber, of pine lumber to build it, but it seemed it was waylaid, and the good deacon took his dragon and flew over the route and found the caravan all torn up like a big creature had gotten to it, and trees blown down like there was a storm over their caravan, and mentioned a storm cloud that was heading towards us that shouldn't have been, given the wind patterns of, you know, dragon riders. They got to know all this stuff about wind patterns and things.
Of course.
So it seems there's a storm heading towards Alpine Springs, where the shipment was coming from, and might be heading in our direction.
How clear?
Yeah, he said he didn't quite think the storm was quite right. There was something wrong with it. So I suggested maybe you do a little groundwork to help the good deacon out and head on over to Alpine Springs and speak with the mayor and maybe a few of the lumberjacks over there to see if anything's amiss.
Oh, help the good deacon out, should we? Preacher Buchanan.
I think it would be just a real good turn that we could perform for the good of the community.
Wink.
Yeah, I beam in your head. I'm gonna fucking kill him.
He's way more subtle than I'm.
Yeah.
Adrian's just looking between them with a raised eyebrow.
Very good at this. Like,
For how good Lyla is at lying, like this is her kryptonite. Having psychic conversations is not her strong suit.
I like how Jedidiah has almost as many personalities as Lyla.
Yeah.
Kind of, yeah.
Well, I have nothing better to do with my time until our friend here's brother comes in. So sure, why not?
All right. Well, I'm not sure when the good deacon is going to totally be able to come back, but it seems it's about a 3 days ride to get to Alpine Springs from here. A little over 3 days. You might get there about noon on the fourth day. They're not too far away. You might run into the into the caravan and be able to see things that the good deacon didn't from his dragon up high.
Above game, like, where Alpine Springs, Amarillo, like what's the geographic relationship here?
So Alpine Springs is on Gold Rush.
Okay.
It's sort of a town that's known for its pine lumber, big game hunting. It's the most forested patch of Gold Rush. Most of Gold Rush is open, rocky, sort of mountainous land. But there is quite a few pine forests kind of up north. Amarillo is
Oh, a whole
kind of
other.
the next plate. It's a whole other plate that you got to sail to.
Gotcha. Yeah.
Which luckily it's one of the only plates that you can actually sail a boat over, or mostly over, because it is technically lower than sea level. So you can sail ships across the big old wheat fields and open fields and things like that. So you can basically go directly to any town on Amarillo in a ship. So
Oh,
yeah.
Well,
Des, do you think Mr. Hubbard would come meet us at this location at some point?
Well, I can certainly see if I can send him a message. I think he's still in town.
Wonderful.
He said something about meeting with Father Hale, of course, and thinking about getting a drink at the Salty Spittoon like good old times.
Excellent. Well, I guess we have some preparations to make before we head on our little journey here.
All right. Well,
I think Lyla is interested in like a little bit of a moment alone in her room real quick. Like before we set off anywhere, if we can sneak
To
that in.
go powder your nose.
Yeah, she'll like we head back to the
Hmm.
salty food, she'll like, just a lady needs to collect her things, and
Right.
just like maybe scamper off.
I think I should go put my things together back at Father Hale's house also. We can reconvene in an hour.
Oh, okay. Chauncey's just, I'm already home, so
yeah. All right. So I guess we'll start with Lyla because I have a suspicion that perhaps a new friend is coming along.
Oh no.
Oh, okay.
Not at all, not at all. No, she wanted to try to contact the huckster maybe a little bit, like sit down at her mirror. Like I want to ask about the what did we find out her name was?
Clara Sanderson.
Yeah, like what the fuck? Like why her? What's up? What's her deal? Like, I mean, we killed her, but does he know anything about her?
All right. Trying to think. Make me just a straight charisma check.
Oh, I mean, okay. And she rolls a 2. So, yeah, that's fun. That was a 7.
All right. So you sit and you sit like you do in your dreams,
Yeah.
brushing your hair,
Yep.
staring into the mirror, and you focus incredibly hard, trying to reach out to the huckster. You actually see the mirror begin to undulate like it's the surface of a lake before it snaps back solid and you get nothing.
All right, well, then I guess she'll just, huff a bit and wonder while she packs her adventure gear. I don't know, like sorts her illusion seeds out.
Mm-hmm.
Sure, yeah.
All right. Jed, you make your way back to Father Hale's house. It is empty. There is no Father Hale and there
Oh.
is no Caleb. There they are gone. You don't know where they are.
Well, I was coming here to try to spy on Deacon and Father Hale. And could I check the church, I guess?
Yeah, I'm assuming you're probably gonna maybe gather a few things if you need it,
Yeah.
and yeah, you can head on over to the church. You see as you get into the sanctuary, Father Hale and Deacon Hubbard are sitting in the front row, the front pew, and they're talking
I would
quietly.
like to cast invisibility on myself.
All right. And Caleb is up at the pulpit, kind of reading through the scripture for that week. It seems he's going to be the liturgist. And that is all that you see.
Can I sneak up and listen to them?
Give me a stealth check.
Ooh. That is 26.
Yep. That beats all of them.
You sneaky bastard.
Yep. So you sneak up, and they're, they seem to be just having a normal conversation. Just a general catching up of like, oh, how's this been? Great. How's that been? Great. Just a very, very boring conversation.
Oh, I wish I was there to see Jed's face.
However, it does get to a part where Deacon Hubbard kind of given the passages for this week, I'm assuming you're still all fire and brimstone. Well, yes, of course. People need to be frightened and obedient. I mean, I'm not sure that's the case. I'm just worried that night changed you for the worst. Is that why you came back? I mean, I did want to see my girl Gertie once again, but I was worried. Ever since that night, you were a different person. What I told you was supposed to lead to conversation, not whatever in the nine hells you decided to do. I did what was right. I don't think you did. And now, man is dead. And we don't know what happened to the other children. I just worry about what you're going to do to this town. The town seems to be just fine. My family is just fine. For now. I know what kind of a temper you have, Father Hale. Sometimes I'm worried that you might hurt someone else, that someone else might not be able to seek forgiveness or change their ways because you decide that you're going to be judge, jury, and executioner in the name of O, and you think yourself so righteous, but you're just going to tear apart another family. And it's very likely that it could be your own. I remember you had a little girl, Birdie. You know where she is? Of course, she went away to the general store and is staying there and needs a bit of space. Well, I guess you're proving my point. I'm sure she'd be here and be sitting up there on that there pulpit with her brother if things were right. But I'm sure they ain't. And at this point, I don't even dare to question. I just know you probably have an apology to give. At least one of them, if not more. And I've probably overstayed my welcome. So I'm gonna head back and I'm gonna focus on my life. But if I hear one thing goes wrong, I'm coming back. And we will have words. Fine. Have it your way. But my family is fine and there is nothing wrong. I'll take your word for it for now. And he gets up and he kind of glares at Father Hale before Deacon Hubbard makes his way out of the church. And Caleb is still reading the passages in the book out loud, practicing them. And Father Hale just gets up and, Caleb, I think we might be changing the scripture this week. After all the work I put in to memorize these? Yep. It happens. And he walks off, and Caleb just slams the book closed and then just kind of sits in the front row and just waits as Father Hale goes to the back of the church to probably one of his offices that's back there, and that's all that happens.
Jed kind of just sits there, and I think he was probably just like sitting in the pew right behind them.
Literally directly behind them. The camera, you see the camera, there's Deacon Hubbard on one side, Father Hale on the other, and then we just see you sitting between their shoulders,
Like a
looking back and
silhouette.
forth between them.
Yeah. And I'll look at my brother for a moment, consider like saying something, and then stand up and walk out and go back to my friends.
All right, so where are you all gathered?
Before we gather, can I do one quick Chauncey? Chauncey's
Sure.
I don't need no fucking whatever Jed just had. He just needs to make a few lists for people. He's just up in his room as he's packing. He's like, okay, Des. He's giving her a cupcake recipe, including like this is how to time it in the oven so they don't burn. Just a little parentheses and stuff. But he's gonna stop after he makes the recipe. He gets his stuff together, but he's gonna write another note, a letter, and it's just going to be like, it's very, it's not quite an afterthought, but it's a very rushed, quick, almost panicked look on his face as he writes it. I mean, he has a little bit of time, but it took him a bit to get everything else that he wanted together. And he goes downstairs and he's going to be like, Des, here, this is a recipe for cupcakes while I'm gone. Give these a try. They might turn out a little bit better for you down the line, okay?
All right. Oh, that is a bit less flour than I thought.
Yeah.
Yeah. You don't need that much flour, and you can lay off. Yeah, and if the mayor invited my brother to town, and if he shows up before we get back, could you please make sure he gets this letter. And he's gonna
Yeah.
hand like a sealed with a wax seal envelope, and it just has scrawled on the front of it, Silas Og. He's like, please make sure he gets this as soon as you can when he gets into town.
All right. I'll keep an eye and an ear out for him. I'm sure it'll be quite the event when he arrives.
Don't just let him stay at the don't let him stay here. Let him stay at the inn, okay?
All right. I'll yeah. I gotcha.
Thanks. I didn't even know how late it was getting. I needed to go meet everybody over at the stables. Oh, time flies when you're having fun.
I guess it does.
Yeah, Chauncey's gonna leave a letter and go.
Yeah. So I'm assuming someone has gone to get Gertie so you all can get horses or a wagon or whatever it is.
We don't need to
you-
role play it, but like I think Jed would like close the door, go uninvisible, go back inside, and like say goodbye to like all the church people, just so they know that he's like leaving again for a few days.
All right. So yeah, to Father Hale and to
Yeah.
Caleb.
Yeah. And I'm sure it was uncomfortable and weird and blah 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 and like and I'll go back out and all right. Hello everyone. McGurdy. I think we're gonna need a carriage and a couple of horses for journey. We're gonna go check out on that wreckage of that caravan that Deacon found.
All right. Yep, I can certainly get you a few horses for that and a nice nice covered wagon. Yep, just try and make sure they come back in one piece. I mean, you usually do, but I know what type of adventures you go on, and they're not always the safest for horses. So just make
We'll
sure good
do our
old cinnamon and
best.
sugar dust come back in one piece.
Of course, those are the names.
I believe those were the names.
Yeah.
Yep.
Jed thinks to himself once again, what dark secrets do you carry? you crazed woman.
Yeah. So she yeah. So you all get cinnamon and sugar dust and you all pile into the wagon. You probably are only going to get about half a day's travel out of this before you have to stop for a rest. This is a 3-day journey, and there are no towns that you can stop at. You could technically, theoretically, stop at Red Tower, but that would take you an extra day and a half to get to Alpine Springs, so it's easier to just do the 3-day straight shot. And so, of course, as per usual, as you all are traveling, if you all could, once again, pick a skill and roll for it.
Okay.
What we're doing.
Let's see.
Are we doing performance?
Oh Lord.
Yeah.
Brace yourself, Adrien.
Why should I be? Why should he be concerned?
We have a 6, so 15.
Okay.
Not the worst.
Oh, it's not awful. How the fuck I have a +9 in every single time?
Where is the animal handling?
You know,
It's
Lyla,
under
I'm really
skills.
seeing some
Like,
real improvement.
fucking a liar.
Somehow.
And then like, damn, just like did one real quick. Hang on, and just.
I love the idea of a shitty bard.
Well,
And
she's
it's like
canonically been rolling like dog shit.
Yeah.
Like,
the inspiration is us just going, oh, buddy. Like,
Yeah, it's more in her sass and snark than it is in her instrument playing.
right.
I don't. I'm high in intelligence, so could I try like persuading the horses to
Persuading is charisma,
Charisma.
and that would also be animal handling, which I think is also wisdom.
That's wisdom, yeah.
damn it. I'm a bookish nerd, not a roughneck.
Entertainment.
I'm sure there's something.
Historical stuff.
I guess people might be interested in a history lesson.
No, not at all, really.
Probably not as much as Lyla's performance, but
Could I try and
go for it, buddy.
as we're going, could I try investigating the area?
Yes. I will allow an investigation check.
Thank you. I'm not useless. I am useless.
Yeah.
Oh no.
Bye.
What'd you get?
I got a 2, so it's a 9.
You're not used to this environment. You're not used to all the bright sunshine, the green leaves of the trees, the red dirt on the road, and all of this stuff. It's very strange and foreign to you.
So I imagine like he would just be very like he's not used to travel like this. You know, he's used to his family's carriages.
Yes.
With that are like closed off because they're vampires. And
Yeah.
so he's probably like in the back of the carriage with his hood over his head.
Yeah. So Jed and
Jed is
Chauncey.
gonna try to stealth.
All right.
Virgil, yes.
Let's go for stealth.
Yeah, I'm still Virgil.
Okay.
Oh, come on. I rolled a 1.
Oh no.
Oh, the dice hate us today.
It was almost a 19.
All right. And Chauncey?
I'm gonna nature check to surveil the terrain and the weather and try to help make sure that we, I don't know, pay attention to just the surroundings and because I'm
Alright.
used to living on this plate at this point. And I'm gonna guidance the check because I can guidance myself.
Mm-hmm.
Please for the okay. 26. 18 plus 8.
There it is. The
All right.
only one who rolled decent.
And that was, I'm sorry, what was the check again?
Nature.
Nature.
Chauncey's keeping an eye on the weather pattern and the terrain and I don't know, the foliage or whatever the fuck. However much a 26 will give us in nature.
Yes. As you are trundling along, you notice the air is getting cooler. It's also getting a little bit muggier, and you're starting to smell rain. And towering on the horizon is a very large cumulonimbus cloud.
Oh.
At first, it appears to just be a big, white, fluffy cloud. But as you're getting closer and you're starting to smell the rain and you're starting to smell, those sorts of scents and feel the temperature changes in the air, you notice just above the tree line, it's darkened. And you're beginning to see lightning.
We may want to stop the carriage now, everybody, and not ride through that.
It is still quite some time away.
Okay. Sorry,
It's not like
imminent.
instantaneous. It's definitely the storm cloud that Des mentioned.
So is it moving like at all, or is it just hanging out there?
It does not appear like it's moving. However, you would know, given that stupidly high nature check, that means one of two things. Either it is just sitting there above wherever it's sitting, or it is heading directly at you with no deviation.
No.
It is one of those two things, and it's going to take quite some time to figure out if that's what it is or if it's just sitting there. Either way, with the way that the wind is blowing, it should not be heading towards you. but yet it might be. There
Okay.
is something not quite right about that storm.
There's something wrong with that storm over there. I don't know if y'all noticed it.
It's the Ravens from Dublin.
It's
Yeah.
Lord
Lyla
of the
does-
Rings reference.
maybe she says something like, perhaps we might think about making camp somewhere nearby. Keep an eye on whatever that business is.
All right.
Adrian's looking at the cloud and he's actually hoping it comes over just to give him a break from the sunlight.
Yeah, it is getting closer to evening at this point. And I'll say that you all eventually begin to try and find a place to make camp. Where you all are stopping, it's not the greatest. There's a lot of rocks. Sure, there's some overhang that you might be able to camp under. You do have the tiny hut that Jed has in his spell book. But a lot of the land is very rocky and uncomfortable. And a lot of it is exposed. There aren't a lot of trees at this point. There will be more of them as you get closer. But unfortunately, this place just isn't great for setting up a comfy camp.
We can tiny hut it though. I mean,
yeah.
You can. It's
If-
not going to make the ground comfortable, but it is going to make the air comfortable, and then things can't get you.
Can I mold earth and like make the rocks turn into like dirt or something?
Just soft
I'm going to say
dirt.
you can't turn the rocks into dirt, but you can move
Can I
the rocks
flatten it?
around.
Yeah.
You can move the rocks around and make a relatively flat area.
All right, this is as good as it's gonna get, y'all.
and wait, how big is this tiny hut again? Because it's tiny.
10-foot radius, I believe.
For dick's sake.
It
So,
is.
It's definitely not the biggest.
Yeah, 10-foot radius.
We can't fit the horses in there with us.
No, fuck the
No.
horses.
Oh, they're getting tied up outside. I mean, I guess we're sleeping on fucking top of each other, I guess.
Pretty much.
It is a bit of a tight squeeze. It's not great, but it's something.
Not
You all
well.
have managed before.
To the extra cold vampire compared to the medium cold Dhampir.
Sorry, what now?
I said I don't volunteer to be next to the extra cold vampire.
So I'm not a vampire. He's not a vampire. He's a Dhampir too.
Oh, okay. So you're right.
He's been in the sunlight.
Right.
Yeah, he didn't turn into a torch in the So
True.
you all managed to make camp.
Jed will do an alarm spell around the camp as well, and
All right.
One of
So
the
you
things
all
Chauncey prepped for this is he's gonna pull out another bag of holding, not his usual one. He just has one on his side. He's bag man, or he had an extra bag with him, and this one's
Mhm.
just full of pillows. He's
Yes.
yeeting them into the tiny hut.
Oh, I could kiss you, and he actually does on the cheek.
Oh, Chauncey just immediately like, oh my.
a little like spout of flames like shoots out of Jed's nose.
Lyla just
Uh-oh.
Right.
scoffs. She
Bedtime, I think.
It's a good maybe hour as you all are bedding down to sleep. Some of you are going to sleep, some of you are staying up for the watch, but most of you are still to some degree awake. And that's when you hear a thunderous cry like an eagle, but hundreds times bigger, ring out. It shakes the earth. And there is a rush of wind. You can still see there's a bit of light at the horizon. And you watch as the trees bend at almost a 45-degree angle as this dark shadow envelops the entire camp for a solid 3 seconds before it's gone. and the wind quiets down. And that's where we're going to end this week's session. So join us next week as we continue towards Alpine Springs to figure out what the absolute hell happened. I will see you all next week, and I will see the rest of you in about 10 minutes.